What is up, legends? And we're going to be talking about how to make winning ads with AI today. I'm actually so excited for this one because I've been going super fucking deep into applying AI to my entire ad workflow. And I'm going to share some really cool shit with you guys today. This is definitely not one that you want to motherfucking miss. Now, if you're like most people, you probably know that AI is a good thing, helps with all your workflows, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Mark, I use ChatGPT. I use AI. I'm telling you right now, ChatGPT is fucking level 1 in terms of what is possible with AI. You need to go so much deeper than just ChatGPT or just Claude or whatever, because the way that I view it right now is those LLMs, right? Large language models, things like ChatGPT, all their various models, things like Claude, all their various models. That is fucking level 1 is just like using regular LLMs. Level 2 is using LLMs plus tools. So think of like Perplexity, for example, a fantastic deep research, the deep research feature within ChatGPT. Those are like the actual tools. Number 3 is the kind of done for you AI agents. And so this would be softwares like ChatGPT's operator. This would be softwares like Manus AI. This would also be softwares like Super Agent by GenSpark. That's like level 3, right? Level 4 is getting into, I'll just call it workflows and automation. And let me explain the difference. So LLMs, they only work if you work. You say, hey, ChatGPT, do this for me. Hey, here, prompt, give me this output. Cool. The minute you stop working, ChatGPT also stops working. Then you have level 2, LLMs plus tools. So this is like using, for example, the image generation feature within ChatGPT, deep research, Perplexity, Gemini, Blackbox, tools like that. Level 3 is using done for you, just like out of the box AI agents. So think of ChatGPT operator, where there's literally a separate browser and you can be like, hey, I want you to go to this website, follow these instructions and get me this outcome, right? Manus AI. If I were to rank these in terms of like the external browser, only these two actually have it, Manus AI and operator. Super Agent doesn't have this functionality. Manus is definitely better than operator in my opinion. The difference between these two levels is that the AI agent has agency. It has autonomy. If you give it a set of rules and instructions, it is going to work even when you step away from the computer. That's level fucking 3. I've set a new rule in my life where I can't leave my laptop for more than like an hour unless I have primed an AI agent before I leave, because I'm always testing shit. This is the fucking time to always be testing shit, like right fucking now. And then finally, you have number 4, which is combining a bunch of these LLMs, these AI agents together to run for you around the clock 24/7. So this is where you can use tools such as N8N, you can use Gumloop. For me, I stick to N8N, most functionality. Gumloop is really good, a little bit more user friendly, all right? So this is like the 4 steps in terms of like the development of artificial intelligence and the ways that you can specifically apply it to your business. And this isn't it. There's probably fucking 40 levels. This is just the levels that I'm using right now, because the farther up you go, the more of a technical understanding that you have. And I'm not technical, you know, I don't know how to code, but I do know how to learn stuff really quickly. That's like the benefit that I have. All right. So what we're going to do today is apply all this shit to the ad creation process. Now I'm specifically going to be going over video ad creation. I like video ads. I like them more than image ads, but there's really not one that's better than the other at the end of the day. Image ads can be significantly faster for you to launch, just like static images, especially with ChatGPT's new tools. Like, holy shit, you can just launch stuff so freaking fast. However, they don't live as long. Those ads will die faster than a fucking 25-minute long VSL. It's just the way that it works. If it's harder to do, it's probably going to last longer, and shorter images not going to last as long, right? So the whole ad creation process, I kind of see it this way. So the first step is ideation. So what is the general idea of the ad that you're going to be creating? Next is going to be the scripting. Next is going to be the sourcing of the content. Then you have the editing. Then you have the motherfucking scaling, right? So just so that we're all on the same page with these steps, ideation, for those of you that don't have an existing brand, you don't have any winning ads right now, ideation is basically going to be the equivalent of like swiping, right? So what I mean by swipe is you find a competitor that is scaling, that meets all the validation criteria that I've talked about a million motherfucking times, and you find one of their top performing ads and you take inspiration from it. You don't fucking rip it. You don't need to fucking rip it. You can probably do better. A lot of guys, especially if they're not operating at scale, they don't even know why their winner is a winner. So you could take the concepts, understand the philosophy, recreate a new ad based off the winning philosophy. Don't swipe word for word. Don't swipe clip for clip. Swipe philosophy. That's what I believe. All right. So if you don't have a brand, this is basically going to be swiping. All right. You can use Get Hooked for this. Go and search your competition. You can go into the brand spot. You can see all the creatives that they've launched. How many creatives are they launching per month? Are they scaling up their production? Are they scaling down their production? How many winning ads do they have, etc. Now, if you already have a brand, everything that you do should be based off data. If you don't have a brand, obviously you don't have any data. But if you do have a brand, you have a lot of data. And the more data you have, the more powerful that it is. Especially in the age of AI, man, you can leverage all that data to inform what the script is going to look like next? If you do have an existing brand, what you're going to do is you're going to analyze your top performing ads and look at the data behind them. So what this would look like if I were doing this on my own, okay, I would go into my ad account. I would look at the top, let's just say like the top 5 ads in the last 30 days by spend. Which ones are spending the most as profitably as humanly possible? And then I want to break those down, and I'm actually going to feed those into AI so that I can then create new scripts based off of the existing winners. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on that in just one second. The scripting is pretty basic. All of this, literally all of this, should be done with AI. Even the chiefing should be done with AI. And then you should have an additional chiefing process where it's you actually reading it out loud and making sure that it sounds good, it flows off the tongue. There's no weird like bumps throughout the script. Everything just like flows perfectly. It's beautiful. It's like you're reading fucking poetry. That's how good copy should fucking sound like. Poetry. Like it's just beautiful. All right. So we're going to come back to this. Now the sourcing of content is actually creating or finding the clips that align with the script. I'll come back to that. Editing, pretty simple. I'm currently working on the process of having this all automated with our editing team. I don't think that we're there yet, to be totally transparent with you. Even with stuff like Kling AI, all the new text to video models that are being launched like every single fucking day, like I try them all and they're still just not really quite there. They're close. They're so close. I feel like in 3 months we could be there. But for now, what I do is I take the script, I take the hooks, and I send those to my editing team who is empowered by AI. You know, I have them trained on using all these AI tools, and then they put all of that shit together. And then obviously you launch it and scale it from there. Okay. So let's go back to ideation, because this is really the first step. And I'm going to talk specifically to people that already kind of have a brand. You have some data, right? If not, just repeat this process, but with a competitor that has a successful ad. So what this process really looks like is you're going to take your top performing ads as well as your bottom performing ads. Like with AI, you can give it all these like structures and all these copy concepts. In my opinion, the best way that it can learn is learning from what's already working right now, fucking word for word. What does your winning ad scripts look like right now? And you want to emulate those. And then you also want to have anti-examples with the ads that are fucking dog shit. Like they got super high CPCs, really high CPMs, low CTRs, unprofitable. You want to use those as anti-examples when you're feeding this to AI. I'll show you how to do that in just one second. So what I would do is first step in that ideation process here is you have to create your foundational documents. All right. Now, foundational documents, there's a few of them that go into it. You have your research doc, you have your avatar doc, you have your necessary beliefs doc, and then you have your offer brief. If this doesn't make sense to you, go watch every video on my fucking channel and get back to me. The brief summary, the research process I used to actually do through ChatGPT deep research, I now use Perplexity. So Perplexity is an AI tool that's almost like more specialized at deep research than ChatGPT. That's why I like to use it better. It's also significantly faster and it uses more sources on average than ChatGPT. So I use Perplexity specifically for that. Go through this document right here and go all the way up until like this entire foundational documents process before you ever write anything, because you need to get those. It's like very, very important that you get those. For the rest of these documents, this can all just be done through ChatGPT. The quality of the copy and the script that you create is 100% dependent on the quality of inputs that you give it. If you half-ass this shit and you don't have good research, you don't have a good avatar document, you don't have a good understanding of the necessary beliefs that your prospect has to have in order to buy, you're cooked. You're just not going to make good ads. So like building the foundation is one of the most important things that you have to do. Now you're going through the process of knowing the type of ad that you need to create. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in your ad account. You're going to get the transcripts of your top performing ads. Ideally, like the more the better, truthfully, but it's obviously going to depend on how much you spend and how many winners you actually have. If you have 20, use 20. If you have 5, use 5. So whatever you have, you want to get those exact transcripts word for word. Now, after you have those transcripts, you are then going to feed all of these documents, these 4, as well as the transcripts of your winning ad. And guess what? You're going to feed all this shit to Claude. Now, for the exact prompts, it's not super duper important. The way that I like to do this is I essentially say, hey, here's these 4 documents I'm selling for this offer, blah, blah, blah. Please analyze them. Let me know your thoughts. Cool. I just wanted to have that context. And like, cool, great job. These are the winning ads that are currently running in my account. Here's the metrics behind them: spend, return on ad spend, P&L, CPA, etc. Please analyze these and let me know your thoughts. Cool. Here are the worst ads. So in addition to the transcript of the winning ads, you also want to have the transcripts of the losing ads and show as they are anti-examples. I tested these and they did so freaking terrible. It's going to be able to identify what are the criteria that is allowing this ad to be a winner. What is the criteria that is allowing this ad to be a loser? Feed all this into Claude. Cool. Now Claude has all of this context Next, now you get to actually begin the process of writing. So again, if you have a brand already, you're going to want to go straight into hooks, and you want to create hooks based off the existing winning hooks that you have. Let's break down the ad and the hook in general. So anytime that you test a new ad, guys, this is like your percentage of success. This 90% right here is going to be your hook. I have seen ads that have just killer freaking hooks. Killer. Everything else is pretty mid, but killer hooks, winning ads. This is like everything else, and this is like the other 10%. If you focus all your energy on the entire ad, prioritize everything, you're not actually prioritizing anything. So I want to prioritize the hook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it specifically the hooks of the winning ads that I've had so far. Again, if you don't have this, use competitors. So you're going to feed to Claude winning hooks, and then just basically say along the lines of, I want you to create a list of 20 additional hooks based off of the principles that have allowed these particular hooks to be successful. I want you to create a list of 20 different hooks, and I'll let you know how good they are. Basically a process like that. Okay. I think that the days of being able to just test ads, just like throw shit against a wall and hope it converts, I think those days are going to come to an end. I really do. With the development of AI, there's going to be a point where you can simply analyze all of the existing data in your ad account, the ads, their metrics, the scripts, the hooks, the scroll stoppers, everything. And then you can know within a certain degree of confidence how likely it is that this next ad is going to perform. Are we there yet? I am. But not everybody. That's where we're going. And so after you have this list, right? Let's say you have a list of 20 hooks right here, 20 motherfucking hooks. Now you want to validate those hooks, right? So it's technically like a little mini step in the scripting process is like the, we'll just call it like validation, because how cool would it be if you know if an ad is going to be successful before you even put any spend behind it? Pretty fucking cool, right? Well, we're not that far away from that. This is going to get a little bit technical here, but essentially what you want to do is you're going to go to platform.openai.com. You are going to go to fine tuning, and you're going to create a new fine tuning model off of ChatGPT. And what you're going to feed it is a JSON file of all of the top performing hooks, specifically of those ads that you have ever written for your business specifically. What is proven, what is backed by data, and what is the data behind those hooks. So you're like, all right, this hook had an average hook rate of this. This hook was able to spend this, the P&L was this, ROAS was this, CPA was this. You're going to put all of this data into a JSON file. You're going to upload that file to the fine tuning model that you're creating. And what it's going to do is create basically, it's almost like a custom GPT, but it's going to create what's called a fine tuned model that you can then have a conversation with. You're basically loading all of this context into it. And then you're going to give it a simple prompt that's going to say, hey, I want you to score these based off like the winning ads. I want you to score these on a scale from 0 to 100. 100 being the most likely that they perform based off the data that I sent you, and 0 being the least likely that they're going to perform out based off the data that I sent you. All right. So let's move on. Basically, after you go through that whole process, you should be at the point where you know within a certain degree of confidence if this ad is going to be likely to win or likely to lose. And when I say ad, I mean like hook. Okay. So what's going to happen is you're going to create a list of a lot of hooks, and most of them are not going to pass the test of being over a specific score. You want to select the ones that have the highest score, the highest likelihood of actually succeeding. So let's say that you actually end up loading in 100 hooks, and the ones that actually end up, looking somewhat promising is like 5 of them. So now you have 5 hooks. These are going to be the basis of the new ads that you're going to be launching. Okay. So we have the first and the most important part of the script, which is the hook, and you have 5 variations. All right. Good job. So you got the hooks. Great job. Amazing. Now we move on to the body. Now the body, the scripting from this point on is actually going to be very similar. If I was testing a new ads, I would probably do one body with multiple hooks. Or if you're testing a scale, let's say 5 bodies and 20 hooks. That's typically about the ratio that I do. But that creates a very, very large combination of different ads you can test just right there. And if you're running VSLs, I would do hook as well as lead, because the lead plays definitely a very, very big role in extending the life of a particular VSL. Now for the body, you're literally going to follow this exact same process. You're going to go back to Claude. You're going to take a particular hook. You're going to say, hey, I want you to rewrite this based off of the winning ad scripts that I sent you before. This is like the target length that I'm looking for. Please make sure you reference the necessary belief stock, the research, etc. Upload all the foundational documents in there so that it's all writing in alignment with those docs. Because again, that's your North fucking star for everything. It shouldn't just be writing copy to write copy, right? It should be writing based off the research that you've already done. Some of the best copywriters in history, they say that like the research process is actually what takes 80% of your time, and the actual writing is like the easy part. That's like the 20%. And then they say the same thing about chiefing. So that's the process for bodies. Very similar, exact same thing. You're going to follow the same validation process, but now you should have at least 5 hooks in, let's say, 1 body for new ads you can test. Congratulations. You now have completed the step of scripting, and those scripts are now validated, and you chose the ones that are most likely to convert and make you money. Next step is sourcing. If you don't know what sourcing means, all it means is finding the content, the visual content that's going to be overlaid on the script or underlaid on the script. Yeah, fucking one or the other. You get it. For me, I don't participate a whole lot in this process because I have a team. So I'll literally just be like, hey, this is a script. I send it over. I send kind of the general ad ideas, like what type of ad is this? Is this UGC? Is this going to be VSL, traditional? Is this going to be a typical ecom ad, static, etc. right? I'm going to use all that shit and send that straight to the editors. However, if I didn't have editors, what I would do is I would use a combination of a few different resources. So with sourcing content, I would be using a few different types of content, right? Because if you just use B-roll throughout your entire fucking ad, nobody's going to watch it. It's boring. What you should use is a combination of a few different types of footage. For example, AI UGC is like the perfect example. I personally believe that for AI UGC, the best model out there right now is captions.ai. It's really cheap, probably the most indistinguishable currently out on the market. You know, that's up for debate, of course. This is my personal opinion, but that's like the first type of content that you could use. The second is going to be basically like product shots. Now for product shots, you can either go to Fiverr and have somebody create videos of your product there, or you can use AI. I'll do chat GPT image generation and then use Kling.ai for image to video. There's a bunch of softwares that do image to video. I use Kling AI. I think they're really, really good. But basically you can take an image where a customer has your product in their fucking hand, take that image and turn it into a video that you can use in the video ad that you're actually running. Like that's fucking crazy. The barrier to entry is getting fucking lower and lower and lower. Now for other types of content, you have AI UGC, you have product shots, you just have standard B-roll. And for standard B-roll, you know, you can use something like story blocks. It's kind of like the gold standard typically for B-roll. Or you can just copy this exact process here and create custom B-roll using AI. This is exactly what I would do. The level to which one you use AI is up to you. Obviously, we use it a lot. If there's not a lot of footage out there on the internet that you can actually use, then you should be using AI and you should be using it very extensively. So at this point, you should have the fucking sourcing done, scripting done, ideation done. Now you're up to editing. Again, I have an editing team, so I will send this straight to the editors and they will cook it up. If you don't have an editing team, a few things I can recommend you. A few really, really good softwares out there for the editing process specifically. You can use a few different tools. Number one is just called aivideos.com. Really, really good AI empowered video editing software. There's another one called Filmora that is very, very good. These two, I'd basically be using them side by side. They both have specific benefits that I could touch on, but I don't think it's really important for the circumstance. Just use them yourself. Filmora has a really cool feature where you can take like a really shitty clip that looks like it was shot on a fucking potato and turn it into like 4K Ultra HD, and you can't even tell the difference. So those are two tools that you could use it to put it all together. This is still the step in the process where I don't think AI has fully developed to the point where it can be 100% automated. That's basically the whole process. I'm going to touch on this very briefly, but those were the steps, right? Now, do I actually go through and do every single one of those steps myself? No. That's why I use things like Manus AI, for example, to be the one that actually is validating the scripts like one by one. So I don't have to do that. If I want to validate like 100 hooks in a row, that's going to take me a lot of fucking time to take one, copy it over here, paste it into here, get the score, paste it back, and just do that over and over and over again. No, I'm going to have AI agent do that for me, such as Manus AI. Super Agent is also a phenomenal AI agent tool. The only thing is it can't go and like control a separate browser for you. So it can do just about anything. It's like ChatGPT on steroids. It can build web pages for you, like custom web pages. It can help you visualize the data within your ad account. It's very helpful. But in terms of having that separate browser, it just doesn't have that functionality as of right now. But it is wicked fast for what it can do. All right, so that's like the first half of how you can speed the shit up like crazy. The second half is the workflows and automations, all right? So I just gave you this whole process. I'm not gonna go through my N8N workflows right now, but I just want to, once again, implore you to explore this yourself. What if you could create an N8N workflow that connects all these tools together? It looks at your winning ads, it takes that winning ad data, feeds it into Claude along with your foundational documents. It prompts Claude without you having to do anything on how to write the hooks and the bodies and the blah, 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 and the VSLs all the way start to finish. It then brings that to custom fine-tuned model that you have on OpenAI that validates the hooks and the scripts to make sure that they actually work. Then you have the full script 100% together. You feed that into Captions AI. You have the custom UGC. It's just completely outputted for you, 100% perfect, exactly how you like it. And then from there, it gets a little messy. But that's like ultimately what the process is going to look like. It's so clear in my mind because we have this built out. And, you know, of course, it's not perfect. It takes a lot of tweaking anytime you get like deep into the AI automation stuff, because you have to think of AI agents literally as employees, right? If you don't give them the right instructions, they're not going to do anything right. And you can be like, oh, this employee is so stupid. Boo. stupid AI. No, you're the stupid one because you just didn't prompt it right. You didn't give it the right resources, the right information, and the right training to actually be an effective employee. That's the way you should be thinking about it. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I think there's going to be very few people that actually watch this and apply it. For those that do, I'll see you at the fucking top. Other than that, y'all, have a great one. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.